So what's the secret to becoming a profitable trader? Well, in my opinion, I think all you need to do to become a profitable trader is simply find a strategy where you have a slight edge and then do that thing as often as you can. Make thousands and thousands and thousands of those trades where you know you have a slight edge, and in the long run, you're going to come out ahead. So for example, when it comes to options trading, you guys know I love selling options. When you sell options rather than buy them, you have an advantage over the option buyer, because as an option seller, time is always on your side, right? As an option seller, you benefit from theta, which is that passage of time. Also, if you make it a point to always sell your options when volatility is high, it tends to decline over time. And if volatility decreases over the life of your short options trade, you also benefit from that volatility collapse. So as an option seller, I can benefit both from the passage of time and a decrease in volatility. Those are my edges that I can exploit, right? And those edges, they're small edges, right? They're not huge edges, but they're very slight edges. But that's okay. They don't need to be some gigantic edge that gives me like a 25% edge over the other guy, right? I just need a couple of points on him. If I have a couple of percentage points over the other guy, then all I need to do is trade enough occurrences, and in the long run, I will come out ahead. It goes back to the video I made a few months back on the law of large numbers. The law of large numbers states that if you have a slight edge, for example, in order for you to actually see that edge manifest itself, you have to trade enough occurrences. You have to trade enough occurrences, otherwise that expected win rate will not match your actual win rate. For example, if I only make a trade 3 times, but 3 times is such a small number of occurrences, I could lose on all 3 trades, I could win on all 3 trades, but maybe I only had a 52% expected win rate, judging by the odds, but I'll never have that manifest itself, because I'll never be able to trade enough occurrences if I only trade 3 times, right? I need to trade hundreds, if not thousands of occurrences of that strategy to see my expected win rate of, in this example, 52% actually play itself out. And I know it sounds simple, but this really is all you need to do. And this is one of the things that so many traders just haven't figured out. All you need is just an edge of a few percentage points, and then just to do that thing over and over and over again. Instead, what many traders end up doing, especially when they're new to trading, is they go into this not with the mindset of, hey, I need to go in here and make many trades. I need to trade many small trades, thousands and thousands of these really small trades over and over again, and eventually I'll acquire some money. Now, they go into it completely the opposite way. They go into it thinking, I'm just going to make a few trades, and these few trades I make, they're going to be really big trades. I'm going to put a lot of money on the line, and maybe I'll hit a home run. And you're really doing yourself a disservice at that point. Again, it all comes back to the law of large numbers. If you don't trade enough occurrences, your actual win rate's not going to match your expected win rate. Even if you find some kind of super edge in trading that doesn't actually exist, maybe you have this trading strategy that's got like a 95% win rate. Well, if you place 100% of your account value on one trade, thinking, well, it's got a 95% chance of winning, I'll just bet my whole account on this trade one time. Well, there's still a 5% chance of you actually losing on that trade, because you only had a 95% chance of winning, right? It wasn't a 100% chance of winning. There's never anything that's 100% guaranteed. So you actually messed up your odds by placing such a big trade one time. You actually would have experienced that 95% win rate had you split that up into many small bets over a number of weeks or a number of months. What happens is when you choose to, instead of making a whole lot of really small trades, instead you decide you're just going to make a few really big trades, all you're doing is giving up any edge you potentially had. At that point, it becomes straight gambling. And you have no edge in gambling. Gambling is all pure luck. Maybe you'll hit big, maybe you won't. For those of you that follow the TASTYTRADE and Tasty Live content network, you know that those guys, they have this motto over there, and they always talk about trade small, trade often. that is the Tasty Trade motto. Trade small, trade often. And the reason is they obviously understand the law of large numbers. They also understand that if you have an edge in something, you need to do it as many times as you possibly can. And when you instead do the opposite and try to trade as few occurrences as you possibly can, all you do is you give up that edge that you originally had. And at that point, it just comes down to dumb luck. When you trade small, trade often, because you're taking so many of these small trades, you have a very, very, very low chance of ever going broke. And that's the key to trading. The key to trading really is to stay in the game as long as you possibly can. And the key to staying in the game as long as you can is to never go broke. So when you trade small, trade often, you will almost never face a situation where you're going to blow up your account. But if you do the opposite, and instead of making a whole lot of really small trades, instead if you decide, hey, I'm going to make a lot of these really big trades and hope to really make some quick money really fast, that almost never works. And that is typically where people get into trouble. That's typically where they get put out of the game because they blow up their account, they go broke. In short, the key to being a profitable trader is simply patience. You have to have the patience and the discipline to know what to do, which is trade small, trade often, and then stick to that plan and just do it. Never get greedy. Never get into a situation where you make a bet bigger than what you should be betting, right? You never want to place any kind of trade where you're trading more than, say, 2 to 3% of your net lick value. If you're making a bet that's more than 5% of your account value, you're really doing something very dangerous at that point. And at that, you're really, again, you're not a trader at that point. You really are a gambler. And this trade small, trade often concept that has been popularized by the Tasty Trade gang, to me, it seems like this is very obvious and sound advice that everyone should be following. But oddly enough, when you look around on the internet at trading forums and subreddits and things like that, you will see people that actually make fun of the Tasty Trade crowd and that whole trade small, trade often thing. I have actually had people that I've seen say that Tasty Trade is a scam because they want people to make so many trades. It's all a scam for them to generate commissions. Well, Tasty Trade and pretty much all brokers these days have low commissions, almost $0 commissions. Tasty Trade, they only charge you $1 to open an options position. They don't charge you anything to close a position. Like the fees and commissions these days for trading are so low. That's just an idiotic argument. That argument would have made sense, say, 15, 20 years ago when I first got started with trading. The fee to actually open a trade was like $10, and the fee to close a trade was also $10. So you were spending like $20 round trip on each and every trade. That hurt. That was expensive. But the fees these days for trading are so low, you shouldn't actually even be worried about fees and commissions. They shouldn't matter. If you're a winning trader, especially, they shouldn't matter at all. And if you want verification that this stuff works, just think about all the big institutional traders out there. Think of the banks and the hedge funds and the mutual funds. Think of all the market making firms out there. What are they doing? I mean, they're making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of trades on a daily basis, especially the liquidity providers out there, the market makers, right? And what are they doing? Well, they know they have a small edge making those markets for you and me, right? And they're doing it as many times as they can. They know, hey, as long as I've got this small edge, I just need to do it as many times as I can. I'll come out ahead, right? They're not sitting there trying to come up with the one big trade that they can do today and hope they get lucky. That's not what the smart money's out there doing, and that's not what you should be doing. Always stick to the plan. The plan should always be find that small edge, whatever strategy it is you want to use. If you want to sell options, for example, check out some of my content on this channel. I think selling options is a great way to give yourself a small edge if you're an active trader. And then at that point, all you need to do, trade small, trade often. Peace, guys.